Whilst we all love a good sunset, what other hyperlapse modes are there on your DJI drone? What is a hyperlapse anyway, and how do you get the best possible results? In this video, I'll be doing a bit of a deep dive into the 4 different hyperlapse functions. And you're going to want to watch until the end of this video, where I'll be showing you a clever trick that you can do with DaVinci Resolve to give you the ultimate control over your hyperlapse video clip. So let's get on with it. The hyperlapse function is available on just about all DJI camera drones, from the DJI Mini series up to the Air series and beyond. DJI Flip even has it.
Oh, good.
The exception to this is the DJI Neo, but there is a hack that can be done to get a hyperlapse out of that, and that's in this video here. DJI has 4 different hyperlapse modes: free mode, circle, course lock, and waypoints. But before we get on to how we use each of them, let's go over some hyperlapse fundamentals to help you get the best out of your shots. What's the difference between a time-lapse and a hyperlapse? A hyperlapse or time-lapse is a series of photographs taken at regular intervals and then squidged together to make a video clip, giving the illusion of time being sped up. A time-lapse is taken with a camera in a fixed position, often over a long period of time, hours, days, months, and sometimes even years. Whereas with a hyperlapse, the camera moves to create a more dynamic shot over a much shorter amount of time. Typically, with a drone like the DJI Mini 4 Pro, this will be about 20 minutes, and you should get a clip of about 25 seconds. Well, I mean, I'll say 20 minutes. If you've mullered your batteries like I have with this, then it could be slightly shorter. Can't you just take a normal video and I'll speed it up in the edit? Well, this is a fair question, but the trouble is that when you speed up video, it can often result in lower quality, jerky movements like this. Whereas a hyperlapse is made of higher quality still photos, which give a much smoother and natural result. Are we going to put a sunset hyperlapse in this? No, we've done enough of them. Oh, but I'm already doing one. No, you're not. It's very obviously the middle of the day, and besides, it's too bloody windy. Well, yeah, but I'm an editor. Well, stick one in at the end then. But no one watches until the end. All the cool people do. If you want to see how to do a hyperlapse sunset, then you can watch one of these videos here. I'll stick a link in the description. Right. To start off with, choose a relatively calm day for your hyperlapse. This can be tricky in the UK, where the weather doesn't often do what you want it to do, and which is why this video took so long to come out. The gimbals on DJI drones are pretty good, but if you've got a lot of wind, then they can struggle to cope, and you could end up with a couple of jerks in your hyperlapse. You really want the resulting hyperlapse clip to be as long as possible, so make sure you've got a full, fresh battery. You can always edit down your shot to what you want, but you can't edit what you haven't captured. The best time of day for these shots is during golden hour, as the reduced light will help you with your shutter speeds, which I'll come on to in a bit. Also, when setting up your shot, make sure that there's going to be some sort of movement in there, whether it's people or cars or animals or other stuff. Aeroplanes. No, not aeroplanes. Finally, don't be that guy that shoots their hyperlapse from 10 meters up, especially if there are people around. Having a drone seemingly hovering above your head for ages just freaks the non-droney out. They don't know that you're taking a hyperlapse. In this shot, I was much too low really, and the guy in this van here actually came over and complained to me. And on reflection, I was thinking, yeah, he's probably right. If he doesn't know I'm doing a hyperlapse and what I'm filming, then he probably would feel uncomfortable. It was a little bit annoying though, because I was late for doing a sunset hyperlapse with my Air 3 that evening. The minimum height you want to do a hyperlapse from is about 50 meters, but 70, 100 meters is fine as long as there's some movement in your scene. This hyperlapse has been taken with all of the camera settings set to auto. You can see that there are changes in color, temperature, and the exposure and the movement in it. It seems very sharp and unnatural. To correct this, we need to go into Pro settings, and in the camera settings, change your white balance to manual and set it to about 5600K. This is natural daylight color temperature, which I use most of the time, but I do sometimes like to bump this up to about 6000K, especially during golden hour and just before sunset to enhance those warm tones. If you want a more dystopian look to your footage, then use a cooler color temperature. Setting your white balance manually stops the drone automatically changing it, which can result in different color temperatures between different parts of your hyperlapse. If you're going to be editing your clip in post, you may want to select RAW files for your photos to bring in as much color information and detail as possible. But do be warned, these photos take up a lot of space and take longer to process on the drone itself, leading to shorter hyperlapse clips. So if you're not unduly worried about getting into the minutiae of batch editing each individual frame, you're probably best off leaving it on JPEG. Ideally, you need to be aiming for a half-second shutter speed or slower. This will give some motion blur to the movement in your hyperlapse and make it look way more natural and convey the speed 100% better. You can also adjust your exposure value to compensate a bit, but what you do want to keep an eye on is your ISO, which affects how much noise there is in the picture. Alternately, you can manually set your ISO to 100 to keep noise out of the footage, but this does then limit your ability to change the exposure. Of course, what makes all of this a lot easier to control is the use of ND filters. This can limit the amount of light hitting your sensor, so on a very bright day, I would stick a very high factor ND filter on to get me down to those slow shutter speeds. I generally favour an ND 256, 512 or ND 1000, all of which can be found in the 16 filter mega pack for the DJI Mini 4 Pro, which has just about every filter you can possibly want. I'm not sponsored by Freewell, but they did send me these for free a while ago, and I'm feeling a little bit guilty that I haven't done a video on them yet. So there may be another video coming out at some point about these. Now, on to the different hyperlapse modes. Firstly, circle hyperlapse. To start off with, get your drone up to height and select hyperlapse. Point the drone at the thing you're going to be circling around and bring the gimbal down if necessary. Then make any adjustments to your shutter speed and exposure. You can see here I have these zebra stripes switched on, indicating areas of overexposure, which I find really useful. You can find this setting in the camera setting on the controller under overexposure warning. Under hyperlapse, select circle, obviously. Then on the screen, select the point you want to circle around. In the menu below, select the interval you want to shoot each frame at. You may be limited on this to a minimum of 2 or 3 seconds, depending on your settings. I have a 1 second shutter speed here, so the drone only allows intervals of 3 seconds. If you're using RAW, then this may go up again due to the time it takes for the drone to process the frame. Select the duration of your hyperlapse. The controller will warn you if you're setting the duration for longer than the battery will last, so set it for as long as reasonably possible. You can always interrupt the hyperlapse shooting if the battery is getting low, and what has already been shot will still be saved. Select the speed you want the drone to travel at. Slower is better in my opinion, but it's sometimes fun to experiment with faster speeds. In most cases, I go for around something of 0.2 to 0.3 meters per second. And finally, the direction of travel, whether that's anti-clockwise or clockwise. It's your choice, and no one can take that away from you.
That was weird. What?
Very quickly, if you're finding any of this useful, please do hit like on the video. It really helps the video get out to other people. And if you're enjoying this sort of stuff, please hit subscribe as well, because you're awesome. Thanks. Press the shutter button, the drone will adjust itself and then get going. You can see the remaining duration of the shot here. This shows how many frames out of the total amount of frames have been taken. And this shows how many seconds of video that equates to. If you've got plenty of battery left and you want to extend the length of the flight, this extends the equivalent clip length by 1 second each time you hit it, and the duration will alter accordingly. With course lock, face the drone in the direction you want it to travel, and then press this padlock icon. As with the circle hyperlapse, you can select a point on the ground for the drone to face as it travels along its course, or you can just leave it facing in the direction of travel. Set your interval duration and speed, and before you set it off, you can check in the map the direction that it'll be flying. And this red dot is the estimation of where it will be when the hyperlapse ends. Set it going, and as with circle hyperlapse, you can extend the video time by 1 second at a time. But obviously this will mean that the drone will get further and further away from you, so watch out for that. There's waypoint mode, one of my favourites. This is where you can plan a route for the drone to fly, adjusting its direction, altitude and gimbal angle at each waypoint. This can achieve a really dynamic effect. The simplest waypoint hyperlapse is between 2 points, which is what I tend to use for sunsets. However, there is a lot more that you can do with this by altering your height and gimbal angle. Select waypoints and then fly to each waypoint that you want to set and click on the plus button to set that waypoint. When setting your waypoints, you get this text here, which is showing you that after the waypoint you've just set, whether the position of the drone is suitable for the next waypoint to be set. It also tells you if the angle is too sharp as well. This is because when flying the waypoint route, the drone has to calculate how to link the waypoints together in such a way as to get a smooth video. If it has to suddenly turn and you're going to end up with a jerk in the video, it'll warn you. This is 249 grams worth of tech that is doing all of that. I still find that astounding. The controller's probably doing a bit of the heavy lifting as well, but still. The rest of the settings are the same as with the other modes, although for obvious reasons there isn't a way to extend the flight by hitting the +1 second button. The mode we've kind of skipped over is free mode. This is where the drone takes the hyperlapse, but you control it. It allows you to limit the speed of the drone so it doesn't go absolutely mad, but like Morris dancing and courgettes, I would say free mode is fairly pointless and should be avoided. Unless you're doing something that the other 3 modes just can't achieve. Of course, this is the time when someone puts a really good case forward in the comments about something that it's really useful for, and I feel like an idiot. No change there. Along with the finished hyperlapse clip, you also get every individual still photo taken in a separate folder, handily called Hyperlapse. In many editing programs, once you've copied this folder to your hard drive, you can open these photos in your photo editing program to make batch changes to them before importing them into your video editing program. I'm just going to show you one really neat trick though that a few viewers mentioned in the comments of my last video. I've downloaded the Hyperlapse folder and the stills to my hard drive and opened up a new timeline in DaVinci Resolve. In File Explorer or Finder, if you're on a Mac, if you just press Ctrl or Option A and drag your hyperlapse stills directly onto your timeline, DaVinci Resolve sees the relationship between all of those photos and automatically combines them to make a half-decent hyperlapse clip. Go into Inspector, go down to Stabilize, push the smoothness all the way to up, and hit Stabilize. In Retime and Scaling, select Scaling, then Fill to convert your 4:3 aspect ratio to whatever aspect ratio you have set in your timeline. Mine is normally set to the standard 16:9. Finally, make any adjustments to the vertical position in your video using the Y position under Transform. Because you have a zoomed in 4:3 ratio video, you will have some of it which will be cropped at the top and bottom, so you'll have a little bit of leeway there. I often use that to line up the sky or the ground in the rule of thirds, because I failed Art A-level. What is amazing though is that you don't even need to have a fancy computer or editing package to do this. You can download the basic hyperlapse straight to your mobile device as DJI gets the drone to do all the work for you, while it's still in the air as well, which is absolutely mind-blowing when you think about it. And there you go. Robert is the name of one of your parents' siblings. If you want to see how to do hyperlapse videos at night, then watch this video here. And YouTube's freaky algorithms think you might want to watch this video here and enjoy it. So why not prove them wrong? Bye!
Can't wait till I'm back up on my feet again.
Thank you!